Prophecy Club, we're going to continue talking about stargates, wormholes, and the bottomless pit. Have 10,000 scientists from 100 countries recreated an Egyptian stargate or wormhole? Was the idea for movies such as Contact, Hellboy, and Stargate SG-1 birthed from their plan to build a modern Stargate? Is their stated goal to recreate the Big Bang, the moment of creation, really a cover story for something more sinister? Will the 17-mile circular Large Hadron Collider, built 574 feet underneath Switzerland and France, open a door to another world? What will happen in 2014 when they turn the power up to 100%? Some scientists fear it could easily open a wormhole or create a black hole and destroy this planet. Could it be the cause for earthquakes in diverse places and distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, and men's hearts failing them for fear for looking after those things which are coming upon the earth? And could it cause every island to flee away? Scientists have built this collider at CERN, spelling C-E-R-N, but C-E-R-N is not a word. Could it be that C-E-R-N is short for Cernunnos, the occultic half-man, half-beast which arises out of the earth? Will Cernunnos arise from the Large Hadron Collider in 2014, allowing fulfillment of what the Christians call the beast and the Antichrist, what the Muslims call the Islamic Mahdi and the 12th Imam? Will he lead Islam to world domination? Is it what fulfills the prophecy that the beast shall ascend out of the bottomless pit? Will it allow the locusts to enter this world, to sting men like scorpions for 5 months? Is the tribulation about to start? We're going to go listen to Stargates, Wormholes, and the Bottomless Pit in progress. Remember, and I know you may be thinking, well, hey, that can't. Go read Genesis 6:4. The sons of God came down and mated with the daughters of men, and their offspring were giants in the land in those days. So could it be that when these sons of God came down, they showed them how to do things like build a Stargate? You see, many people believe that the Tower of Babel was actually a Stargate to talk to the gods, because it wasn't supposed to be building a tower that was really, really, really tall to reach the stars. It was building like some kind of a communication device, or maybe even a Stargate. Maybe these things we see on the movies and on TV that are supposed to be science fiction, they're not always science fiction. Sometimes they're fiction based upon fact. So, did you know that according to William Henry, the ancient object called Ta-Wur is an Osiris device, was actually a Stargate machine? Of course, if you get the DVD, I've got a picture of the hieroglyph here. It looks like a giant tuba on both ends of it. Well, I show you pictures of what a wormhole looks like, and then a tuba, and you see the wormhole. You put two tubas back to back, and it looks exactly like a wormhole. In other words, they have a drawing of how a Stargate, or how a wormhole, same thing, Stargate, wormhole, same thing, on the side of a pyramid. What are we doing with something like a Stargate that is designed on the side of a pyramid? It went on to say that they believed it was used by Seth and Osiris to travel across the underworld. What if the sons of God, when they came down and mated with the daughters of men, maybe they didn't just mate with the women? Maybe they showed them all sorts of advanced things they had no business in knowing, and maybe they started corrupting the DNA, and that's the real reason God destroyed people back in the flood. Well, of course, in the DVD, I show you several of these drawings. There's more than one of these Stargates that they found in pyramids. But the Stargate and a wormhole is like putting two tubas back to back. And a wormhole, when it's turned on, can actually, apparently, some people claim that it can begin to suck things into it. Now, let's tie this together, because some people may be saying, oh, man, Stan, you've stepped off the deep end now. I've heard some crazy things from you, but this has got to take the tape. Well, let me just throw one more piece of interesting information here that you might have to say, maybe, just maybe there's something to this. October 28, 1943, Our government had already done several experiments with smaller devices. Their objective was to try to make something disappear or to be invisible to the eye and invisible to radar. And they had been successful, and so they decided that they were going to try it on a larger device. And they put these big Tesla coils on the USS Eldridge, turned it on October 28, 1943. And the first experiment was pretty successful. Several people said that the whole boat just disappeared. It just up and disappeared right in front of them. But then they tried it again a second time. Now, here's what happened. Yes, it did render the boat invisible or kind of cloaked to enemy devices. However, I want to say right up front, the U.S. Navy totally denies this ever occurred. Okay. However, this experiment was allegedly based on the aspect of the unified field theory I'm reading here, a term coined by Albert Einstein. The unified field theory aims to describe mathematically and physically the interrelated nature of the forces that comprise, here it is, electromagnetic radiation and gravity. Researchers thought that this unified field theory would enable large electrical generated magnetism to bend light around an object so that it becomes invisible. It's still there, but it bends the light around the object. In 1943, it was supposedly successful to a limited degree. It became almost completely invisible, but then some witnesses reported a greenish fog appearing in its place. Crew members supposedly complained of severe nausea afterwards. Some sailors, when they turned the machine off, were embedded in metal structures in the ship that became invisible and physically vanished from the area in a flash of blue light, teleported to Norfolk, Virginia, over 200 miles away. And some claimed that the Eldridge sat in Norfolk, Virginia, for some time in full view of men on board the ship, whereupon the Eldridge then vanished from their sight and reappeared back out in the sea where they were conducting this experiment. It's also said that the warship traveled back in time for about 10 seconds. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Of course, Prophecy Club in 1999 was going and a-blowing. We were having meetings in about 40 cities a month. We were in 80 radio stations, 25 TV stations. And so I was getting a lot of people calling and wanting to be a guest on the program. And this guy by the name of Al Balick called me. He's right in the thick of all of this. Well, he called me in 1999, wanted to be on the Prophecy Club, and he said, this is his story he told me. In some ways, I sort of believe it. I mean, I would really like to know the truth. Here's what he told me. He said that he was on the Eldridge in 1943. He said that he freaked out. Everybody on the ship freaked out. He said he didn't know what to do. He said, so he ran over. He saw that they weren't too far from this island, and he thought he could swim to the island. He ran over and just jumped off the ship, and he jumped into the water. He said, and I was expecting to hit the water, but I just kept falling and falling and falling and falling and falling and falling. He said, I fell for a long time. He said, and then suddenly I hit the floor, and I looked up, and I was surrounded in this room by these people with all these electronics, and I landed to discovered that I had landed in Montauk, New York. The date, August 12th, 1983. Now, let me back up. He jumped off of a boat, the Eldridge, in 1943. He landed in Montauk, New York, August 12th, 1983. And the people were freaked out. They said, no, 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 you have to go back. You have to go back because that experiment has gone wrong. We need you to go back. He said, I can't go back. I'm not going back to that. He said, no, no, you have to go back. You have to go back and shut it off. Shut it off. How do I shut it off? I don't know how to shut it off. He said, find an axe and start cutting wires or something. You got to go shut that thing down. Get back in there. I can't go back. He said, yes, you can. He said, we can send you any place on the globe at any point in time we want to. We're going to send you right back on that ship on that same day and time. He said, and you, that's an order, son. He said, you get on there and you shut that thing down. You've got to shut that thing down. He said, so they sent me back on there, and he said, I found a big axe, and he said, I started whacking and cutting. He said, there's a lot of sketchy things to his talk there. And I can't guarantee that what he told is accurate, but since we're talking about $10 billion to make a Higgs boson, I don't believe it. I don't believe that 33 nations spent $10 billion just to see a God particle. I think that there's something else to it. And it may very well be that these folks have conducted all kinds of secret, hidden experiments, and what they're really doing has to do with opening a door, a gate into another world. Let me just say, folks, that Lindsey Williams was told by the ruling elite that they think it is ungentlemanly, it's bad sportsmanship to do something to the masses without first warning them. They're gentlemen. They may be evil, but they're gentlemen. And their choice of warning is through media, television, movies, and the like. Often, movies are fiction based upon fact. Okay, if that's true, then Revolution Studios, if you'll go and look, of course, it's too bad you don't have the DVD to see what I'm talking about, but it's a circle within a circle within a circle, and these circles rotate in various ways. If you've seen the movie Hellboy, here's what happened. In the final days of World War II, the Nazis attempted to use black magic to aid their dying cause. It wasn't black magic, it was a Stargate. The Allies raid the camp where this ceremony is taking place, but not before a demon, Hellboy, has already been conjured. In other words, this movie tells us they have a Stargate, and some kind of a hellion, a demon, comes out of that Stargate. And of course, if you get the DVD, I have pictures of all of this, and I have pictures of the Stargate and how they pull through here. I mean, it shows this guy getting sucked into the Stargate. Same thing with Contact. If you'll go rent the movie Contact, you see that they're talking about making a sphere, in other words, a ring, like a wedding ring, a giant one, spin. One is, say, east-west, one is north-south, and they're rotating, and this creates some kind of a Stargate, and things go into it. Things come out of it. Same way with Stargate SG-1 on movies. You see them, they have this big ring within a ring, and it rotates around, and then all of a sudden, there's this gate, and you can walk through it, and you're on another planet. They are telling us that magnetism plus energy can create a Stargate. CERN, C-E-R-N. What does it mean? I've got a picture of the statue in front of CERN, and it is actually a picture of Shiva. This is the Hindu goddess. And as you look at that, it looks just like a Stargate, and it's got a demon coming out of this Stargate. And I show you all these pictures. Shiva is this round-looking shape, and it has these little fire things coming out of the top of it. Again, you got to get the DVD so you can see what I'm talking about. But it looks very much like a Stargate. And in the center of it, it has this god. And again, I can explain that on the DVD, and I go through and show you what it's talking about. But the interesting part is this Shiva, this Hindu goddess, is the image that they make out of bronze in the front of CERN. Now, are they telling us what this is really all about? If you're going to make a car company, then you might put something in front of that that is maybe symbolizing your name or the name of the company or the objective of the company. You might even put some kind of a car emblem in there. But you're not going to put something on the front of it that has to do with the baseball. In other words, whatever it has to do with is going to be in the name, the logo, the symbol in the front of the company. And in that they chose to put this particular emblem, to me, if you look beyond the obvious, it's really telling you that this has to do with a Stargate. Now, in the DVD, I show you a picture of a Stargate. I show you a picture of this Shiva symbol, and you say, oh, yes, I see what he's talking about. Okay, who is Shiva? Well, you remember the phrase, now I'm become death, parenthesis, Shiva, that's what Shiva means, the destroyer of worlds. Who said that? Well, that was said by physicist Robert Oppenheimer. He was the supervising scientist of the Manhattan Project, and he helped make the bomb. Now, that's very interesting, isn't it? Now, I've got another picture here of this Shiva in front of CERN. And if you look at it closely, it looks like a Stargate. Then I show you another picture here of part of the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider. If you compare the Shiva image to the LHC, some of the parts there look almost exactly. Matter of fact, I remember making the DVD, the audience went, because they saw it. Yes, it looks very much like a Stargate. And I show you these various up-close images of this Shiva. Then I show you this Large Hadron Collider. Again, you gotta get the DVD to be able to see this. I show you another image of this Shiva. Now this is a kind of a man-female figure that sits here, and all of them, no matter, and I show you several of the pictures of them, they all have a trident. They have a snake around their neck. They have a trident in the picture. Here's another picture, trident in the picture, snake up in their hair, male, female. It's all talk. This is the Hindu deity, okay? And it's called the Destroyer or the Transformer. That's what Shiva means, a Hindu deity, the Destroyer or Transformer. So are they really saying that that's what CERN, that's what LHC, that's what this project is really all about? Then I take you to the CERN logo. Now, this is what brought me to the project in the beginning. I made a DVD. I think it was called DNA of the Mark of the Beast. Again, I'm making so many of them now, it's hard for me to remember which ones they are. This is what got me started on it, the CERN logo. Now, again, if you have the DVD, I show you the logo, and I show you within that logo, it says 666. So, essentially, they're saying that the LHC, which is Hebrew for gate, is based upon a transformation. It is evil, has to do with the snake, and it has to do with 666. What is the name CERN? Well, the name, according to their website, is derived from the acronym for the French Council Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire. I think it's saying French for the Council on European Nuclear Research. What is that? That's not short for anything. And the word CERN is not anything. How come, if they call it the European Organization for Nuclear Research, why don't they call it EONR, European Organization for Nuclear Research? I suspect that CERN has nothing to do with the European Organization for Nuclear Research. I think it is their real objective. Now, let's look up what Cernunnos is and see if it fits. A Cernunnos is a horned god holding a torque. I'll explain in a moment. A god of nature or fertility. Now, this is reading straight out of Wikipedia, okay? Cernunnos is a conventional name given in Celtic studies to depictions of the horned god of Celtic polytheism. The name itself is only attested once on the 1st century pillar of the Boatman, but depictions of a horned, antlered figure often seated in a lotus position and often associated with animals and holding or wearing torques are known for other instances. Okay, a torque is something, it's like in the shape of a horseshoe, like in the shape of a U. And it is made of these wires that are very straight, that don't want to bend very much. And then it has on the end of it 2 round balls. Now, some people you see wearing it around their wrist. Some people have it as a necklace. However, what is it? Well, the interesting part is, in order to put the true torque on, it takes another person to put it on, because you have to twist it. And then while holding it in a twisted position, then you push it with force down upon a person's neck. And when you release it, it straightens out. And that's where we get, like, a car has so many foot-pounds of torque. Now, of course, they spell that torque T-O-R-Q-U-E. However, the true torque is spelled T-O-R-Q. And it's a symbol of making someone a slave. In other words, they put these torques on their slaves to denote them as a slave and to make certain that everybody knows they are a spoken for slave. Now, and reportedly, the person that is wearing the torque can't take it off. So, is this CERN saying that it's going to make slaves of all of us? What is Cernunnos? Well, it is supposedly a mythical being that has nut brown skin, curling hair, eyes that flash with starfire, his cells alive with mystery, naked, with phallus erect. Okay, so it has an erection. Now, none of the pictures actually show that, but I'm just saying, in other words, it's evil. That's what I'm trying to say here. a crown of antlers. In his right hand has a torque of gold. In other words, like a dog collar. In his left hand is a horned serpent. Now, that's one picture. In the DVD, I show you several pictures from several websites, and they all have the same thing. They all have the torque around the neck, all have the torque in the right hand, and the snake in the left hand. Here's another Cernunnos, untamed horn god of the animals. Leaf-covered green man, guardian of the green world. Our prehistoric ancestors knew him as a shape-shifting, shamanic god of the hunt. Why would they call this place CERN? Could it be that this is what they're really trying to conjure? They're really trying to open. They may not know it as the bottomless pit. Maybe they don't know where it's coming from. But could it be they call this place CERN for short for the word Cernunnos, an untamed horned god that is a shape-shifting god of the hunt? Here's another one. Again, you got to get the DVD because you can see all these pictures. Portrayed as human or half-human. He has an antler crown, a human face. His concerns are non-human. His is the life that is given in service of new life. He is the old, now listen to this, the old God that sleeps down in the dark, moist, odorous underfoot, waiting for us to put down our roots to allow him into this world. Now, does that sound like that could be the imam that arises out of the pit? Does that sound like that could be the beast that arises out of the bottomless pit? I don't think it's an accident. Here's another Cernunnos. Again, horns, snake, torque, they all have that. It says about this, he is oldest of the ancient ones at the time of the first earth. Wow, is that talking about pre-flood? Cernunnos grew in the womb of the All-Mother, Anu, waiting to be born to come forth to initiate the everlasting, unbroken circle of life, insinuating rising from the earth to be reborn as the Antichrist? Could it be that CERN is really a 17-mile round stargate designed to bring something, a Cernunnos or something else, out of who knows where? Maybe they do know what they're doing. Maybe they know exactly what they're doing because they've already done it in smaller experiments, but they had to get 33 nations and $10 billion from them in order to make it into a really, really big CERN to bring something really big into this world. Here's another picture of another Cernunnos. Does this symbolize the beast from the earth that rises from the bottomless pit? I show you another picture. Another picture. Now, none of them have the phallic symbol, praise God, but it's all pointing to the same thing. Now, what about the chimera? Could it be that what will come through this stargate will be a chimera? Now, what is a chimera? Well, according to Wikipedia, a chimera is a monstrous creature with parts from multiple animals. Jesus was half man, half God. And if the devil does it exactly opposite that to make his Antichrist, to make his beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit, then he would do half man, half fallen angel, or maybe half man, half Lucifer. So does it make sense that he might appear, in the spirit at least, to be parts of multiple animals, as in half this, half that? Well, I show you another beast here, some of these websites. Revelation 5:13 says, and every creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, so there are creatures under the earth. Again, I show you more pictures. You got to get the DVD so you can see what I'm talking about. Mixing with the sons of God. To summarize, is CERN an innocent experiment? What's the real purpose? Will the Large Hadron Collider open a door to another world? What will happen in 2014 when they turn the power up to 100%? Will it open a wormhole or create a black hole and destroy this planet? Have 10,000 scientists from 100 countries really recreated an ancient Egyptian stargate or wormhole? Could it cause the prophesied earthquakes in divers places, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming upon the earth, and cause every island, to flee away? What's its real purpose? Was the LHC a Stargate built at CERN to allow a Cernunnos, an occultic and half-man, half-beast, to enter our world from the bottomless pit? Will Cernunnos arise from the Large Hadron Collider in 2014 and become what the Christians call the beast or the Antichrist, or what the Muslims call the Islamic Mahdi or the 12th Imam, and lead Islam to world domination? Will this bring in the beast or Cernunnos or Chimera? Will it allow the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit and the locust to sting men for 5 months like scorpions entrance into this world? Is the tribulation about to start? You got to get the DVD. It's called Stargates, Wormholes, and the Bottomless Pit. So I can show you all of these pictures so you can see and understand what may very well be happening, folks, in 2014. Are we about to see the half-man, half-beast, the beast or the Antichrist arise out of the pit that is really the Large Hadron Collider at CERN, 574 feet underneath Switzerland and France? Have they played with something that's going to do damage and cause millions to lose their lives? Get it. It's called Stargates, Wormholes, and the Bottomless Pit. Call 785-266-1112, or it is on the website, prophecyclub.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers and your gifts of support. May God bless.
Prayerfully consider supporting the Prophecy Club with your gifts of support.
Now from the Prophecy Club, some exciting opportunities for you. I invite you to order my brand new DVD, Stargates, Wormholes, and the Bottomless Pit. Have 10,000 scientists from 100 countries recreated an Egyptian Stargate or wormhole? Was the idea for movies such as Contact, Hellboy, and Stargate SG-1 birthed from their plan to build a modern Stargate? Is their stated goal to recreate the Big Bang, the moment of creation, really a cover story for something more sinister? Will the 17-mile circular Large Hadron Collider, built 574 feet underneath Switzerland and France, open a door to another world? Some scientists fear it could easily open a wormhole or create a black hole and destroy this planet. Is it what fulfills the prophecy that the beast shall ascend out of the bottomless pit? Call 785-266-1112 and order Stargates, Wormholes, and the Bottomless Pit, or go to prophecyclub.com. Karen Anderson spent 10 hours a day for 10 years, 5 hours a day for 20 years, learning the secrets of Revelation from an astronomical point of view. None of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand, says the Bible. She says the book of Revelation is a call for the tribes of Israel to return by explaining the story of the Son of Man coming from one end of heaven to the other. By understanding Jesus' role in the heaven, it helps us fulfill our role on the earth. Many men have tried to read this message, but it is hidden until the appropriate time. The stars are a second witness to the Bible, designed to be understood now. A letter from God to us to prove Jesus is the Messiah. Explaining this story called The Word of God and Jesus is the Word. Topics are the purpose of the earth, Bullinger's Witness of the Stars and Clarence Larkin, the wedding feast, the offerings of the temple and the man, the sickles of Revelation 14:14, the Great Seal and its secret purpose, the Great Pyramid and its role in early Christianity. 5 DVDs, almost 10 hours, valued at $150, all for a gift of just $50 or more. It's the astronomical book of Revelation. Call 785-266-1112. 5 DVDs, 10 hours, astronomical book of Revelation. Gift of $50 or more, 785-266-1112.